Okay, I'm going to cover three areas this morning. Firstly, the current and future size and shape of both AMBA and BGA. Secondly, some of the top line results from our MBA application enrollment survey. And then finally, the 9 key things that you've told me are the biggest issues over the last 12 months. Right, so starting with the slide that I started with yesterday, just to repeat, been another year of record growth for AMBA and BGA despite the global uncertainties. We've had a terrific year. The AMBA MBA accredited network has now grown to 293 schools. BGA has grown like wildfire to 321 member schools. BGA accredited schools already 63. And the AMBA and BGA student and graduate networks, 88,000 of your students and graduates are members, 68,000 AMBA and 20,000 BGA. Okay, just briefly first, AMBA, you know and you're familiar with AMBA, the only specialist accreditation and membership brand for business schools' flagship programs and students, the MBA and MBM. And we currently have a 300 cap on the size of the AMBA network. We are well aware now that as standards have grown right across the business school world, there are a lot of good quality schools that would be eligible for AMBA. And we discussed as a board yesterday what we will do about that for the AMBA network going forward. We've got further board discussions coming up over the next couple of months, and then we will communicate with you all our decision in terms of the future size and shape of the AMBA network. And as I say, there are 68,000 student and graduate members. So this is the spread worldwide of the AMBA network. You can see very strong Europe, UK, Asia, Latin America in particular, but also strong of almost all the quality schools, the best quality schools in Africa. Okay, BGA. Again, I think you're starting to know the brand well. Powerful global brand for business schools and student and graduate members. Strong emphasis on 3 very current topics, which is why I think BGA is growing so strongly. Impact, lifelong learning, and responsible management. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Entire school portfolio focus from undergraduate to postgraduate programs, so it's whole school accreditation. And 3 engagement levels, the member level bronze, validation level silver, and accreditation level gold. And it was our ambition to build a 4th major global accreditation brand, and that has now taken shape with the really fast growth of BGA. So you've now got AMBA, AACSB, EQUIS, and BGA. This is the growth curve to 321, and you can see that it's a straight line in terms of growth. Ever since launch, we've added 1 new school a year, every year for 6 years. So it's got tremendous potential, and we're delighted with the support that you're giving BGA. This is the spread of schools. Again, not dissimilar to AMBA. You can see particularly strong in Asia and Middle East, especially India and China, very strong in Europe, UK and Ireland, Africa, Latin America. And this is the spread of the 63 accredited schools, again, very strong, particularly in Asia, China and India. Here are some of the brands that have got BGA accreditation, you know, some premium quality brands, IIM Calcutta, Porto, Incaye, King's College London, just to name a few. I'm now going to give you some of the top line results from the application enrollment survey, which was the survey 2024, but of course it is the 2023 actual academic calendar year. And these figures are very accurate on the market because over 95% of AMBA schools' data is shared. Okay, so firstly, the most used mode of delivery. If we start with 2020, you can see in the COVID years, online absolutely dominated for obvious reasons. 44% of programs delivered online. And then post-COVID, there's a gradual rollback and return to in-classroom teaching face-to-face, with 2/3, 66% of all programs being taught face-to-face, and online down to 11. So the much vaunted growth of online actually is not so much the case. You see now that 1 in 4 programs is blended, which I think will become the dominant mode of teaching. Most used methods of program delivery by region. Again, you can see 2/3 classroom is the global figure. Virtually everything is classroom in Asia and Middle East, China in particular. The biggest area of online is Oceania, and I think that reflects Fiji, Australia, New Zealand, the number of distant students. Again, all these slides we will provide for you. You can have the whole presentation, because I appreciate some of them are quite detailed. Okay, so here's the gender mix, and the global position is 40% of MBA students are now female. The highs and lows, China is 50-50, and India is 21%. So those are the two highs and lows. The India position, to be fair, when I first came to AMBA, was only 10% female, so even India is moving in the right direction. Domestic and international, you can see the global figures here. 1 in every 4 students globally is an international student from out of country. And again, the highs and lows. In India, there are no international students, which reflects the huge demand in India from domestic students. And in the UK, 2/3 of students are international, so could the complete opposite picture. Conversion rates, application to enrollment. The outliers here, Asia and Middle East, excluding China and India, is a 50% conversion rate. So it's very high. Latin America also reflecting part-time programs locally in local cities is 49%. And India, the demand, particularly for some of the IIMs, is quite incredible. There is a 1% conversion rate. Okay, I'm now going to move on to the 9 areas that you've told me through my meetings with deans, senior management, and some of our research are the 9 key areas. The first is economic uncertainty, both national and global. And we did a survey earlier this year of over 100 deans and directors, and this is what you said. In answer to the question, my business school is experiencing challenges due to economic uncertainty, 72% of you agreed with that. And the biggest area of uncertainty is affecting student affordability, particularly in countries where students have got loans from first degrees. It's making second degrees even more expensive and unaffordable. Secondly, the impact of inflation on operational costs. Thirdly, the reduction in government grants or public funding. So when you take all these 3 areas together, it's no wonder that we're experiencing some challenges. So what's happened to actual enrollments? 39% of you said there was a decline in domestic enrollments. 46% of you said there was a decline in international enrollments. And in terms of actual growth, the increase in domestic enrollments, only 6% of you saw a significant increase. Sorry, 9%, and only 6% saw a significant increase in international enrollments. So the reality of that is it's a challenge for our industry. Secondly, increasing competition, national and global, the same survey. So the question, my business school is experiencing challenges due to increased competition. 80% of you agreed with that. And where's that competition coming from? 42% of you said the competition is coming from business schools in country. 32% said it was coming from global competition. And only 8% said it was coming from other providers, people like LinkedIn and other online brands. Thirdly, the whole area of lifelong learning, courses, modules, and micro-credentials. This was a survey that we did of over 400 student and graduate members earlier this year, 98% of whom agreed that they would classify themselves as lifelong learners. So 41% access courses and modules from their own business school. But 51% are accessing external micro-credentials, of which LinkedIn Learning was the most popular. So more are looking outside your school than inside your school. And encouragingly, and something I think for you to think about, 72% said they would definitely be interested if you offered micro-credentials yourselves. So for me, if you take the pressure on conventional student degrees, this is the biggest opportunity in terms of growing your schools. Okay, number 4, innovation and benchmarking, access to new ideas and global best practices. And on that, I just wanted to encourage you to read your copies of Ambition magazine. So these are the 7 last editions of Ambition, which runs bi-monthly. We send a physical copy of the magazine to every AMBA school in the network, and then we email our entire mailing list a digital version. And if you want to see, so for example, there is Jörg Rockel from yesterday, Morris from the presentation just now. Great ideas throughout the magazine in terms of best practice and new ideas. Operational excellence and continuity, staff recruitment and retention becoming a big issue. And it's one of the reasons we launched the MBA Directors Club yesterday, that what we're trying to do is help you, particularly where there are new people in post, get up to speed quickly. And the benefits of the MBA Directors Club is we'll be running induction programs for your MBA directors, successfully transitioning them into their role. Specialist MBA breakout workshops at each conference, like yesterday and today. A closed networking and discussion space, membership forum site, so it's not just at conferences. And then Ambition magazine and online platforms, promoting articles and sharing best practice. And then finally, we've brought into our Director of the Year Awards an MBA Director of the Year Award, which will recognise excellence for one particular MBA director. Okay, the AI revolution. The evolution of faculty and what I call the changing of the guard. So this is all about AI enabling less time teaching and administering, and more time mentoring and researching. And I'd introduce you to one amazing BGA member school, IAM Sambalpur. And what they're doing is they're using AI software to provide case studies and projects. Then they analyze the student engagement, the participation rates, the presentation styles, and the group dynamics. And then once the presentation or project is complete, the AI system gives a complete breakdown of how individuals and group performance has been, and they'll provide recommendations. And it's then faculty will get involved and mentor appropriately each individual student. So it's taking the old traditional faculty model into a new one, and that's on every program that they do. So a great school and well worth having a look at. Responsible management, economic and geopolitical pressures, including the area of DEI. And we're not going to change our DEI focus for AMBA and BGA, not for anyone, not for Trump or anyone else. So I would strongly recommend the whole BGA accreditation process, much of it based on the 17 SDGs, and also the continuous impact model, where we recognise what you're best at in those areas. And one of the reasons for the growth of BGA, I think, is its responsible management focus more than any of the other accreditation brands. Challenging and evolving job market, graduate career placements was the 8th thing that you mentioned. And I wanted to mention the student and graduate network there. Your students and graduates are entitled to free membership, and there are many benefits. Talk to the membership team here. There is our career development modules. There is the opportunity to use the membership platform for students and graduates to network amongst themselves. Do take advantage of it. Like all the services I've mentioned so far, they are included in your membership fees, so they're completely free of charge. And then finally, international alliances, partnerships and networking. You're saying it's really important. And I just wanted to trail briefly on the wonderful video screens the conferences we've got coming up next. So chronologically, the next conference is our Latin America Forum in Viña del Mar in Chile, Latin America Deans and Directors. That's then followed by our accreditation conference in Krakow in Poland in September, at the same time as our Professional Excellence Conference, also in Krakow. And then finally, our final one of the year is our Asia Pacific Conference, which will be in Bali in November. Okay, that's all from me for now. Before I introduce our next speaker, I'm very happy to take A, any questions, or B, see you all individually later in the conference, either today or at dinner tonight. Any questions? Gentleman down here. If you can sprint down, Charlie. He's running.
Sorry, I didn't want to make you run that long. Hello, my name is Wojtek, I'm from Prague. My question regarding the number of accredited schools. You mentioned that the board is currently discussing that, and I'm not sure whether I correctly read between the lines that number might be extended. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more about the things you are considering? What are the criteria which will eventually be considered to lead to the conclusion about the number of accredited schools? Thank you.
Sure. I think the first thing to say is whatever we do, AMBA will still be a niche brand. We're not going to do an AACSB in terms of hundreds and hundreds of schools. We can't answer the criteria yet because we're still having some board discussions, but we will come to you as soon as we've got an answer. It will be very much maintaining quality, so we're not going to compromise the quality of the portfolio. But in terms of if we do increase it, what is the geographical mix or the type of school, we haven't decided that yet. But we will communicate with you when we have decided what we're going to do very clearly on a one-to-one basis through email.